car now!
What's the primary charge, sir? What is your name and date of birth?
And told me I was being detained, and I asked her under what penal code, and she told me under suspicious activity.
He was flying the drone out in front, videotaping.
Today, we're dishing out a buffet of bundles and blunders where the boys in blue turned red with embarrassment. From Lieutenant Karen Nazario's spicy traffic stop seasoning to the drone drama with Sergeant Wisdom schooling Officer Clueless, we've got a full spread of law enforcement hoopses. The Confused Confrontation. Now here's a story I'd like to call The Confused Confrontation, starring none other than Lieutenant Karen Nazario, who probably wished his traffic stop was just a bad episode of Cops, a dark and not-so-stormy night. Lieutenant Nazario, driving his shiny new Chevy Tahoe, is leisurely looking for a spot to park that's brighter than his future. Little does he know, he's about to star in a roadside rendition of Gunpoint Greetings, courtesy of Windsor's finest, Officers Joe, I Need Glasses, Gutierrez and Daniel. What's the escalation?
Driver, roll the window down!
Felony traffic stop.
Put your hands out the window! Let me see your hands! How many occupants are in the vehicle?
What's going on?
How many occupants are in your vehicle?
It's only myself. Why are your weapons drawn? What's going on?
Open the door slowly and step out. Open the door. Open the door slowly and get out. Get out of the car now. Open the door and get out of the car.
Crocker. The scene is set. Nazario finds his well-lit stage at a local gas station. Enter stage right, our dynamic duo. Guns drawn, voices cranked to 11.
Get the door.
I'm not getting out the vehicle. What's going on?
Get out the car. Open the door slowly and get out.
What's going on?
Get out of the car now.
Get out of the car, they demand, with the subtlety of a bullhorn at a library.
Get out of the car now.
I'm serving this country and this is how I'm treated?
Yo, what? Guess what? I'm a veteran too. I learned to obey. Get out of the car.
What's going
Get out of
on?
the car now.
Nazario, cool as a cucumber in a freezer, calmly inquires, Gentlemen, what seems to be the kerfuffle? But our boys in blue aren't in the mood for chit-chat.
What's going on? What did I do?
Get out now.
I have not committed any crimes.
You're being stopped for a traffic violation. You're not cooperating at this point right now. You're under arrest.
For a traffic-
You're being detained. Okay? You're being detained for
For a
obstructing
traffic violation, I do not have to get out the vehicle. You haven't even told me why I'm being stopped.
Really?
Get your hands
Get out of the car now. Get out of the car.
Get your hands off me,
Get out.
please. Get your hands off me.
You know what?
Get your hands off me.
Now, here's where things go from 0 to why is my face on fire? In no time, Officer Gutierrez, mistaking his pepper spray for a bottle of comply or cry, gives Nazario a zesty facial that no spa would endorse.
I didn't do anything. Whoa, hold on. What's going? Hold on. Watch it.
Listen. Take off your seatbelt and get out of the car.
I'm just trying to serve my country, Nazario pleads.
Hands are out.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
Hands are out.
Don't reach in there, Daniel. Don't reach in there.
Hands are out, please.
Take your seatbelt off. What are you, a specialist, corporal? What are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant, get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now. Get on the ground or you're getting sprayed again. Get on the ground.
Now looking like he's auditioned for a hot sauce commercial. But wait, there's more. As Nazario finally exits his vehicle, teary-eyed and dazed, Officer Crocker decides it's time for some ground rules. Literally. He's all, get down on the ground, like he's coaching a breakdance battle. Nazario, however, isn't feeling the groove. Fast forward, and our pepper-sprayed protagonist is cuffed and confused, while Gutierrez suddenly turns into a wannabe life coach.
Please talk to me about what's going on. Can you please talk to me about what's going on? Can you please talk to me about what's going on?
Look, son, let's pretend this little misunderstanding with the mace never happened. He suggests, with the finesse of a mobster offering protection.
No, you weren't. You were not. My partner put his blue lights on.
Yes.
You didn't stop.
I was pulling over to a well-lit area for my safety and yours. I have respect for law enforcement.
No, you don't.
And so,
No, you don't. No. Wrong answer, sir. If you did, we would not be in this situation right now. And you refused. You said, no, I'm not getting out of the car.
I was asking what was going on. My hands out the
And
window.
we told you it was a traffic stop, and you refused to comply.
But here's the twist. The body cam footage goes viral faster than a cat video with a catchy tune. The public outcry is louder than the officer's commands, and Officer Gutierrez finds himself on the express train to Unemploymentville. Population. Him. And now, a word from our Larry.
Remember, traffic stops need a clear cause, not just a hunch. No plate in sight? Check again before your lunch. So, what's the moral of this spicy story? If you're going to enforce the law, maybe learn it first. And if you're going to use pepper spray, make sure it's not on someone who's just trying to find a well-lit parking spot.
The parking lot pandemonium. Now it is time for the parking lot pandemonium. A tale of confusion, cuffs, and cameras. Our protagonist? Just a regular Joe with a phone and a penchant for public photography. The setting? The bustling backdrop of a police department parking lot, where the only crime afoot was, well, none, actually. Enter our man with a plan, camera in hand, filming the comings and goings of police cruisers. Because who doesn't love a good episode of Parking Wars? But hold the phone. Literally. Because here come our boys in blue, officers.
What are you doing back there?
Hey guys.
Your phone is perfectly fine.
Hey
and
guys,
it's on still. See
go
that?
ahead and call.
Step
Stop
over
by,
here. We're talking to you. So step over here and tell us what you're doing back here. This is private property, and that's why we're asking you.
How can a police department be private
Do
property?
you have an ID with you?
How can a police department?
You have an ID with you, sir.
Ma'am, did you turn my phone off?
You got a,
That's a violation of my First Amendment.
Jump the gun, Johnson and not on my watch. Williams, ready to turn a non-issue into a full-blown episode of Law and Disorder.
what's your full name and date of birth?
You guys are working on getting a lawsuit.
So listen, you're fixing to be arrested for failure to ID if you don't identify yourself.
That's a secondary charge. What's the
Do
primary
you understand?
charge? What's the
Do
primary
you
charge?
understand?
What's the primary charge, sir?
What is your name and date of birth?
Sir, what's the primary charge?
You are being detained
I'm
right
not
now.
gonna answer anything. If I'm detained, then I don't have to talk to you. I like my lawyer. Thank you. And if I'm not detained,
What is your name and date of birth then? Shut him down with you.
Hey, you can't film here. This is private property, claims Officer Johnson, confusing public property with his own backyard. Our cameraman, a stickler for details, retorts, since when did the police department become a secret clubhouse? But before he can say, First Amendment, his phone is snatched, and he's slapped with bracelets, handcuffs, that is. Now, as our hero stands cuffed, his phone's fate hanging in the balance, along comes Sergeant. Seize the date, Davis, with a furrowed brow and a sigh that says, not this again. The sergeant does what we've all been waiting for, frees the man and hands back his phone, leaving Officers Johnson and Williams looking like they've just failed a pop quiz on the Constitution.
that phone
Let's
is
take him
my
over.
record. Can I please get my phone first? I want my phone to record this.
What do you need?
That is my
That's
official
what we're
record.
talking
Cannot
about.
interfere with my First Amendment right. Please bring my phone back.
The man, now free but fuming, throws out a lawsuit threat like it's a bouquet at a wedding, hoping someone will catch it and make things right. And as he walks away, phone recording once more, we're left to wonder, will there be a sequel in court? But wait, let's pause for a moment of reflection with our legal guru, Legal Lingo with Larry.
Public property filming is fine. Cuffing without cause? That's a legal line. Perhaps the only thing our man was guilty of was trying to capture some candid cop car content. And maybe, just maybe, that our officers should spend a little less time playing bad boys and a little more time brushing up on the old Bill of Rights.
The masked misunderstanding. Now let me tell you what I like to call the masked misunderstanding. Picture a chilly day, a man on his bike, face wrapped up like a mummy to fend off the frostbite. Only it's a ski mask, not bandages. He's filming in public, exercising his First Amendment right like it's a muscle that needs toning. Enter stage left, officer. I need to see some ID. O'Malley, with a suspicion radar that's more sensitive than a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. She's on him like white on rice, demanding ID like he's a character out of a spy movie. Who are you? And what's with the camera? She probes.
My protection.
Okay, let me see.
I can give you my name, but first I want to know under what penal code am I being detained?
You're being detained because you're acting in a suspicious way in an area with businesses.
In
that would
what
make
way?
you more uncomfortable. You were wearing a ski mask, dude. Come on.
It's windy. I'm riding a bike.
Okay. Do you have ID on you?
I don't. I have my name.
Our masked man, let's call him cameraman Carl, isn't having it. I'm just filming, ma'am.
He nervous.
Okay.
I'd like to speak with him. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Sir,
How are you?
I'm good. She walked up, sir, she walked up to me.
Yeah.
She told me, give me your ID, and then she grabbed my camera.
He says, voice muffled by the ski mask, which, let's be honest, might be adding to the drama. But Officer O'Malley isn't buying what Carl's selling. She's convinced he's up to no good, like he's filming the pilot episode of America's Most Suspicious Home Videos. The tension's thicker than the plot of a daytime soap when suddenly, the supervisor, Captain Cool Head Calhoun, arrives.
When we get back to the station, I'll get her body camera and I'll look at it.
I'll be over there too to detain that footage. I don't even see, she doesn't even have one on.
Bruh.
Sir?
It's under the car.
Carl spills the beans, but Officer O'Malley's playing them. He's lying. Card harder than a poker champ. Captain Calhoun, ever the voice of reason, suggests checking the body cam footage for a replay. Plot twist. Officer O'Malley's camera is lounging in the car, probably sipping on a cup of joe, missing all the action. Now, with no footage to back her up, Officer O'Malley's standing there like someone who's just realized they've been arguing with a mannequin.
And told me I was being detained, and I asked her under what penal code, and she told me under suspicious activity. And I want to know what suspicious activity. Because under my knowledge, I'm operating under the law, never over.
Yes, sir.
Under the First Amendment. I know you know it, but
The implications are as clear as the lens cap on Carl's camera. She's goofed up, big time. And here comes our bite-sized wisdom from Legal Lingo with Larry.
Suspicion isn't enough. Evidence is a must. No camera? That's a trust bust. So, the moral is, if you're going to confront a citizen, make sure your tech is strapped on tighter than a superhero's cape. And maybe, just maybe, give the guy with the camera the benefit of the doubt before you go full Sherlock Holmes on him.
The drone drama. Here our hero, with a remote control, meets his nemesis, Officer. I don't need no stinking badges. Bravado. Our scene opens with Drone Dave, just a guy trying to get that perfect aerial shot of pigeons in flight, or whatever floats your drone.
Who are you?
I don't need to provide that.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
If I'm asking you who you are and why you're videotaping our facility, you have to provide me with some kind of identification. So do you have any identification?
To require identification under the law, you need to be able to articulate a crime that I'm about to commit or I have committed.
Enter Officer Bravado, strutting up with the confidence of a peacock in mating season. Papers, please! He demands like he's the border control for Droneville. Dave, armed with nothing but his wits and a solid understanding of the Constitution, stands his ground.
Okay. You're going around, you're videotaping our state police facility for no apparent reason, and if I'm asking you who you are, you have to provide me with identification.
I don't have to, no.
It's just like anything else.
No, it's not.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
In fact, your public information officer already has dealt with this here, and so has a few other officers, so...
I don't care who's dealt with it. I'm asking you for identification because I want to know who you are right now. And I want to know what your reasoning is for videotaping our facility.
Well, first of all, Supreme Court has covered that filming out in public is perfectly legal.
I don't care what the
And that is not a suspicion of crime, so therefore you have no suspicion of crime.
I'm not your guy, he insists. I'm just here for the bird's eye view. But Officer Bravado isn't having any of it. He's dismissing Supreme Court rulings like they're old emails, claiming dominion over Dave's drone doings. The standoff is tenser than a tightrope walker with vertigo, and it looks like Dave's flying rights might just crash land. Just when all hope seems lost, in swoops Sergeant. Save the day! Sully, with a demeanor cooler than the other side of the pillow. He's got the lowdown on the law and isn't afraid to school Officer Bravado in the fine art of mind your own business. With the grace of a diplomat and the patience of a saint, Sergeant Sully confirms what Dave's been saying all along.
You want to get a supervisor or somebody higher up?
Sure, here's my sergeant. He's coming out right now.
Well, then he'll tell you.
Okay, no problem. Hey, Elaine. He was flying the drone out in front, videotaping. All I'm doing is asking for a form of identification so we can identify who he is. He's refusing.
Go to your first sergeant, not a problem. Not a problem.
He can videotape as much as he wants. We don't have to get any form of identification.
He can videotape, not a problem.
All right.
The man's just filming, let him be. Officer Bravado's ego deflates faster than a balloon at a porcupine party, and he's got no choice but to back down. In a surprising twist, Sergeant Sully offers an olive branch in the form of an apology, and Dave, ever the gentleman, suggests a little homework for the boys in blue. Maybe a refresher course on the Bill of Rights, perhaps? And here's a quick quip from our buddy Legal Lingo with Larry.
Supreme Court says film away. No ID needed if no crime in play. So, if you're going to buzz around with your drone, make sure you know your rights in case you run into a cop who thinks he's the king of the airspace. And for the officers out there, maybe check up on those laws before you try to clip someone's wings.